Welcome to Crafts and Minis. It has been way too long since I've said that, and I am so sorry. When I took a little break from making videos, I didn't know for sure how long that would be, and YouTube tells me it's been 7 months. And I wanted to jump back in and tell you I want to make videos again for 2020. If you've enjoyed these, I really can't thank you enough for watching, but I'm also sorry that I left you hanging because I was doing some regular updates for a while there. And actually, I'm making this video today at the end of 2019 because I got an amazing email from a viewer named Bill. Bill, thank you so much for the encouragement. Bill just said that he and his gaming group really appreciated the videos and how simple my techniques are and just the enthusiasm. And I love the enthusiasm in this hobby. And I love all the other amazing YouTube channels out there just killing it. And I just wanted to jump back in because you know what? I missed making videos too. And what you see in front of you is just some of the stuff I've been working on in the last 7 months. I haven't stopped hobbying. In fact, I've added some new dimensions to the hobby. And I just wanted to do a little sharing before I tell you a little bit about 2020 coming up. So first, I've been playing in a regular Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition game each week. And it's been amazing. This is my player character here, Mox Brow Splitter. He's a dark dwarf who is an old school mini from Hero Quest, that amazing board game that the minis I still have from that are just incredible, have so much character. And I painted him up, of course, super fast and dirty like I do. And he's been a lot of fun to play in the game. So Dungeons & Dragons has still been part of what I've been doing. But I haven't been DMing. So I haven't been running any games in the last 7 months, but I've been playing, which has been a lot of fun. But that doesn't mean I've abandoned the monsters. So I've been doing some monsters, which has been a lot of fun. And in fact, I did these 15 skeletons like this from, I think, the game, what is it, Dark Tower or Dark World or something like that. The minis are really similar to Hero Quest minis because they're all one piece sculpt. You know, you don't have to glue any pieces on them, and they're really super durable. And especially for skeletons, they're awesome. Now, my favorite sculpt of skeletons are like early 1990s GW multi-part skeletons, Games Workshop multi-part skeletons, but they're fragile. And I've painted some of those up in the last couple years, and it was awesome, but they're fragile. These are not as fragile, so I'm super excited to have these. And you can see, of course, my technique. I just hot glue the base onto a big tongue depressor piece of wood, and it just works out really well. And I prime and paint all on there. Now, one thing I tried out, which I haven't talked about on a video yet, are these Citadel Color, so Games Workshop contrast paint. So these skeletons were simply my old technique of zenithal priming, two-tone priming, black all around, then white just from the very top. And then that's just one coat of the Skeleton Horde contrast paint on these guys. And then I just painted the swords just a little different. That's crazy, right? These went super quick. I got 15 of these done in no time because you know my style, fast and dirty, and these contrast paints are cheating. Now, I haven't used the whole line. I'm not one who went out and bought just a ton of them to start. I wanted just a few select colors because they're super expensive. And even though I really like the results, and I think for the amount of time, the results are really good, I think you can get this effect with watered down inks too if you work at it. So I don't know if you have to invest as much money, but you can't argue with the results on these contrast paints when stuff has more contours in it. So you look at like the rib cage, that actually looks better than something like the back of the hand, right? Like, so you see the pooling happens. And that's the thing with the contrast paints, what I was told at my game store and what I've figured out on my own too, just from experiences verified it. The contrast paints are great on like fur and different things with a lot of contour, but if it's on a flat surface or a smooth surface, it does not work as well. So just a little tip on the contrast paints. Also, I did a dragon with the contrast paints super quick. This is one of those, what is that, a WizKids dragon or something like that from D&D. It's a $5 US dollar dragon that I primed just like I normally do, black all around, white from the top. And this was all just this Flesh Tears Red contrast paint, which of course on the wings looks awesome. And then on scales, it just looked really good. Now, does it have as much depth as if I would have like highlighted up more? No. But this doesn't have to be the only tool in the toolbox, right? Use a little bit of the contrast paint, and then if you want to, go back dry brush on those scales, a little bit lighter color. And then of course I like to do a little darker edge, come back with some darker ink on the edges just to make those wings kind of stand out from the background. He's pretty fun. I actually did that really quick in an evening at a buddy's house who was learning to get into painting miniatures, and he's a DM for his family. He's got a great family, and they're all playing Dungeons and Dragons now. And it was just so fun helping him with some tips on painting and seeing his progress. And he's been doing great. So I was able to get that done. The first night we got together, I forgot to bring that out. I did an ogre from Reaper Miniatures, and it was a lot of fun because we both did ogres, and that was cool just to paint together. Now I left these last two for the end on purpose. Okay, these are the same miniature, but one of course is bigger than the other. I don't even know how I got into this, but I took the plunge and decided to get a resin 3D printer. And so I actually printed these miniatures on my own. I want to say the design was from Rocket Pig Games. They have a lot of great designs. If I'm wrong on that, I'm super sorry. And I'll have to be corrected in the comments. But this is a hobby in and of itself, 3D printing, and I can't recommend it for everybody. I use an Elegoo Mars resin printer, and actually I got a little frustrated by some of my results, so I haven't been 3D printing in a while. But I want to print up the player character for another person in my D&D group, so I got to get back after it. But I wanted to just show you, like, this is the design, and I know it might be a little hard to see since it's in the clear resin. But, I had to get a whole setup in the basement now to be able to print these, and the UV light to help harden it and all that good stuff. And you got to do research. I just got to tell you, I'm not at the point where I can give recommendations, on how to do this stuff with the 3D printing. I'm a total novice with all that. In fact, I paused the print on this one, and you can see this line that happened in the arms because of it right there. Like there's a big gouge because I paused it and brought it up. I wanted to make sure it was printing well. I've had a ton of failed prints. I am still learning it, but it is a lot of fun. But here's what's fun. Keep your failed prints. You learn a lot from a failed print, and you can do cool stuff with them still. So the big guy, he was supposed to have like this huge spiky bit here and these other spiky bits. Well, they didn't print right, and so it ended up hollow. Well, I just filled that in and did some super easy tin foil packed in there with then a little hot glue over the top. And then I used some pumice paste, and look at that. He's a cool swamp monster guy. And I love it. Now he's on a just enormous base. What's that like? Yeah, that's 100 millimeter base. I'm showing you the 2-inch 50 millimeter base next to it or on it. So that's 100 millimeter base. So that's 4-inch base basically. So that's just a ridiculously big creature for D&D. But maybe I'll use them for some other games. That's the other thing. I wanted to chat about what to look forward to in the channel and in the hobby that I'm going to be getting after here in 2020. And at the moment, I'm going to still keep playing D&D. As long as my DM and the group wants to keep going, I'm down to keep doing that weekly. Also, Kings of War. Now, I've been playing Kings of War since first edition. I got in on the first Kickstarter from Mantic Games, and it's a lot of fun. Second edition, I actually played my first games of Kings of War at Adepticon. Kyle, who now is with Mantic Games, and his buddy Caleb for Mastercrafted Gaming at the time were the ones I played my first game with as a practice game before the tournament at Adepticon started, and that was a lot of fun. But now they have the third edition of the game, and of course, new edition sparks my interest again. I got the book. They're going through hobby stores now, not the Kickstarter to do that. I saw them at Gen Con, which, by the way, I went to Gen Con again this year, which was a ton of fun. I'll be filling you in about that maybe as I produce more videos. But Kings of War, is awesome. And I have an army of abyssals that actually, my main unit, I have 6 regiments. If you ever play Kings of War, 6 regiments of 20 soldiers each. So that's 120 soldiers that don't have a stat line anymore in the game. They were fleshlings, and now they don't exist anymore in Kings of War. So I got to find either a new army to use those in, which I can definitely do, or redo the Abyssals. But there's a bunch of different armies in Kings of War that I want to get after. And it's fun because you multi-base them. So I can put a bunch of minis on one stand and they count as a unit, and it's just a ton of fun, and there's a great community. And actually you'll be seeing hopefully updates when I do just like a weekly video again. So that's what I want to try to do for 2020, a weekly video of the hashtag hobby streak. Bill encouraged me in that email today to get after it again. So Bill, this video is in response to that. I want to get after it. I want to do the hobby streak again, which is where I just want to get after the hobby just a little bit each day. And usually that means painting, but it could mean basing or, assembling miniatures. And I'll take a picture and post it on my Twitter account at Crafts and Minis. So if you want to follow me over there, you can see my daily updates starting on January 1st of 2020. And we'll just see how long the streak can go. I got over 100 days last time I did the hobby streak, and it was a lot of fun. And then every Monday posted a video of all my progress with the hobby streak. So we'll see if I can do that again. But I really appreciated Bill reaching out. I really appreciate other comments I've gotten, encourage me, asking where I'm at. How's everything going? Everything's going great. I've been still hobbying it up. I just have been selfish and not sharing with everybody out there. So I want to change that for 2020. I want to get after it, and hopefully you get after it too. So if you want to put in the comments how you're going to be getting after the hobby in 2020, or what games you're going to be playing, or what new things are you going to be trying, or what projects do you want to finish up, let me know. But I've missed all of you, and I hope 2020 is going to be an excellent year for all of us when it comes to getting after it. So go get after your hobby.